Hey y'all, I am currently cooking for work Thanksgiving potluck. I've had so much cooking going on recently, and I haven't filmed any of it for y'all, even though I just started this channel. But one thing that hit me was I am making my rice. We're having a bean cook-off, and well, most people are doing red beans. I'm doing stewed baby limas, but I still am going to serve it over rice. And my rice is as much a star of the show as the beans themselves, and I do love the beans. The rice start with onions. so my rice recipe is kind of inspired from two different places. And the last names of the two individuals whose rice recipes inspired me are Brown and Shia. And so I wanted to, honor those two people that inspired me when I came up with this recipe. So I thought I could call them, some name to honor those. But BS rice just didn't sound good. And in fact, this rice is no BS. So that's what I call it, is no BS rice. So well, let's get going here. Gave you that description while I chopped some onions. And let me grab a couple other things and we'll get rolling here on no BS rice. Thanks. All right, here we are. Back to cooking the no BS rice. So I guess the first thing I'm going to do, we'll kick the heat on here. There we go, hold over medium. Drop in some butter. And while that melts, I'm going to grab a spatula. So there is one ingredient I happen to be out of with all the Thanksgiving cooking, and that's bay leaves. So that would normally get added in pretty early here, but not today. So while that melts, I'm going to pour 3 cups of water into this kettle. And we'll get that started. It might be ready before we're ready for the water, but I can turn it down. Better to have it ready too early than to not have it ready in time. Okay, this is the onions I was chopping. I salted it a little. Actually, it's just one onion, one sweet yellow onion. And when I saute onions, I like to do just a little pinch of baking soda. It changes the pH and affects the Maillard browning. Speeds things up a little bit. Helps get the rice a little, not the rice, the onions a little mushier, which I think is a texture that, particularly, in the rice, you don't want too crunchy. Keep that moving, keep it out of the corners. So let's go ahead and let that saute for just a minute, get translucent. If I start to see specks of brown, I'm probably gonna stop things right there. So I'll be back once things are a little further along here. All right, our onions are starting to get translucent. They're looking pretty good. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my rice. It was 2 level cups. I rinsed it to get a little bit of the excess starch off, and in doing so, consequently, the rice hydrated a little bit, so it's showing a little higher. There goes that kettle. So let me turn down the heat on that. This is long grain rice, Zatarans, South Louisiana Zatarans, but don't stress too much about the particular type of rice. Just know that if you use a different grain length, it might require slight adjustments to the cooking time. Just experiment a little if you use a different if you use a shorter grain rice, it might cook a little quicker. So we're just trying to get the onions folded in and the butter coating the rice to get it just a little toasty. And this is a process where you need to trust your nose. You want to smell the nuttiness of the browning rice. Also, as I mentioned in my first video, I'm still getting used to cooking with a phone in between me and the food I'm cooking. So I don't normally fling this much rice out of the pot, but I'm still just getting used to. Okay, so I'll let this go for just another minute, and we'll be right back. All right, rice is a little bit further along. I've knocked even more rice out of the pan inadvertently, so I'm going to go ahead and turn off the heat right here. Now, so the first thing that we're going to do with the heat off is I'm going to grab some Better Than Bouillon. And the recipe calls for 1.5 tablespoons. This is like a literal tablespoon, not a measuring tablespoon. I'm not typically too precise about that, so I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. We'll just put this in, kind of stir it in, get it mixed in and coating the rice. I'm not going to stress too much about how precisely and thoroughly mixed it is at this point, because we are going to do fluffing later that will get it distributed. Okay, so this trick here from Alton Brown. You're going to make sure you have a saucepan that has a well-fitting lid, and you're going to put that foil down. We're going to get this back up to a boil. And peel just enough away so that I can pour. And even doing that, I still managed to get my hand, make sure that's pressed in nice and secure. And we're going to set a timer for 20 minutes. We'll set a timer for 20 minutes.
Sure, 20 minutes. And we're starting now.
Okay, so turned that off. As I was saying, even peeling that back and pouring, I still got my hand a little steamed, but not as bad as if I had not had the foil. I'll leave this here for 20 minutes and we'll come back once we are going to set this burner to its lowest temperature. Can't forget that. Set this to its lowest temperature and we'll come back once this has had a chance to cook the rice. Thanks. Be back in a minute. All right, so here we've been just about 20 minutes since we put it on the lowest heat on the smallest burner with the pot lid sealed tight with the foil. And we should be hearing that go off any minute. I'm just going to go ahead and actually kill the heat right now. There's enough heat in there that turning that burner off with a few seconds left isn't going to stop any necessary cooking. And went ahead and got myself a trusty fork. And we're just waiting a moment. There it is. Stop. I apologize to those of you all that have that device in your home. I'll try and mute it out if I can. So at this point, we're just going to kind of fluff it a little bit. Stir it up. This is exactly one of those cases where you hear somebody say, "I wish you had smell-o-vision." The onion, the chicken smells, but overwhelmingly, most of all, the butter. It just really reaches out here. So once you get it fluffed, just, kind of get everything that was on the sides away from them. All we do is we that's so good. Put this back on, leave it there for 5 minutes, and then it's ready to serve. It's really, really moist. So if you're serving it with something moist like gravy, 5 minutes covered and then 5 minutes uncovered to let it dry out a little, let some of that steam come off. But just look at that. That's beautiful. All right. Thank you all for watching. Go ahead, do the internet video thing. Hit like, hit subscribe, hit that little bell. I think it's over there now for notifications so that you get more recommendations for good content like this. Do this rice. I don't care if you have this rice is something you can eat on its own. I don't care if you have nothing to put on it. This rice is phenomenal, but even better, I'm putting some stewed baby limas, some butter beans on top of it. But pork smothered in gravy is always great. Obviously make it for my gumbo, etouffee, etc. This rice is killer. Go make some of it right now. You will not regret that. Thanks for watching. Talk to y'all later. Bye.